But we need to move on to the main event. It's a grudge match. It's also a mirror match, in my opinion, and I'll explain why. Um, but first off, it's Kamaru Usman at -185 and Colby Covington at +160. Now, before I get into my whole spiel, I'm gonna throw it to Mike first, just to give myself a moment to breathe. So, Mike, how do you feel about this main event? How do you see it going? Who are you picking? All that great stuff.
Oh man, this this main event is I don't know if I'm more excited just for some more shit talking, for the fact that it's gonna bring drama, or the fact that it's gonna be a great fight, but it's gonna be really, really interesting. I don't know if the wrestling is gonna cancel each other out, or if one has a little bit edge on wrestling, it's gonna be superior, and then it's gonna make the other one fold and end up on their back. Um, or we're just going to have an equal out on wrestling and have just a striking match. So it's going to be super interesting to see. Colby Covington's output and cardio and everything is truly so remarkable that it's just hard for me to not say that he could win this fight. And so, but Usman is the same. So it's just I'm having a really difficult time with this one. And so if I had to pick one, because I like going against the public and I like going against every single person, everybody and their mother seems to be on Usman, and they're counting out the fact that Colby Covington is a D1 a national collegiate wrestler that has won many championships. I think that if you look at the videos online, the Michael Chandler, who's smaller than Usman, he single legs and he kind of dominates Usman a little bit on the ground. So I think that Colby can do that same thing and be tenacious and really get under Usman's skin. But I also then think that Usman could get under Colby's skin standing. So this fight is going to be awesome. I'm stoked that we get to see it. But this isn't the true contender fight, because we all know that George Gamebred Masvidal is the one that deserves this fight versus Usman.
Similar to Mike, I'm on I guess, the road less traveled. Seems to be everyone I see is picking Usman here, clearly by the price, and a lot of that is from Colby Covington hate because of his character. And yes, I get he was cringy before Henry Cejudo tried to be cringy. Um, he's playing it to a T. For everyone that says that he is not popular, in general, I would agree. He's not. He is the type of popular that can exist within the MMA bubble. Could he go beyond that? I mean, it's possible. I mean, with a win here, especially if this is as big of a fight as we all big of a card as we all think it is, and have they're marketing it to be, with a dominant, especially a dominant win here, good mic skills after the fact, maybe another trip to the White House because of it, and a few other things. He could be a crossover in a way that no one wants him to be. He really could be. Usman could too. He absolutely could. I do think he has star potential, but Usman disappeared after he beat Woodley. Dude barely talked, and you barely saw him for since that win. Like I said before, I see this very much of a mirror. It's the mirror match of the night. These guys are very similar. They have identical records. They both lost by the first round submission earlier in their career. They both are wrestlers. They both have adapted to strike in different ways, but adapted to striking. Kamaru Usman was part of that original Black Zillions crew, and his striking shows it from working with Henry Hooft. He's got the power strikes down pat. He doesn't throw a ton in combination. When he does, he ends with the powerful leg kick when he can get it out there. He does have some power. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I do think his power is a little bit overrated, only because you haven't seen much of it. People said, just look at the shots he hit Woodley with. I mean, Woodley has been knocked out. It's not like Woodley hasn't been knocked out. He just wasn't knocked out by Usman. Also, everyone's going on and on about Usman's cardio, which I only think it looked phenomenal in his last fight. It's looked good. I mean, there's times where it's fumbled, but it's looked good. But it looked really good against Woodley when it was one-way traffic and he didn't have to defend against anything. And in any grappling scenario, he was being the dominant one and didn't really have to push back. But I will admit, Usman has more power. He absolutely does. That's I have that cardio question though of who actually has better cardio. In terms of output and going forward, it's got to go to Colby. His output is insane against Robbie Lawler. 500 strikes thrown. That's ridiculous. I don't think Usman can handle that. I think he'll drown in that much striking. So like he has to be able to get Colby on his back foot and not throwing constantly to be able to stifle some of that output. But no one seemed to have been able to do it. And it seems like Colby has a little bit of a chin on him and can handle strikes. I mean, will the wrestling strike? Getting tongue tied. Will the wrestling cancel itself out? If it does, that's why I'm leaning more Colby. Even though I do think, like, I guess statistically, Colby has better wrestling going college wise, but in terms of I guess takedown defense, Usman's never been taken down. Colby's been taken down at least once. He eventually got subbed. Um, so yeah, I'm leaning Colby here. By no means for any other reason other than I think he has a good chance of winning, and I think this fight would be a pick'em if not there weren't for so many people not liking Colby. Um, I can keep going on this fight, but it's gonna be talking around in circles. Given the amount, the price, I'm really liking Colby here, especially if it gets any higher. Keep the eyes on Twitter to see if I actually bet it.